Welcome to Jesus TV. This is a special episode, and I was at church when Jesus had me start scripting this episode. So the nice thing to know is there's a script. Sometimes we can wander all around without a script, but Jesus has been kind to script this. Well, what you're about to watch is called R-rated and G-rated messaging. R-rated and G-rated messaging. It's the name of this episode. My broken old man, that's me, my broken old man efforts to communicate the message that Jesus has put into my heart to share with the world have been quite fruitful. Really? When compared to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Corporation. Tell me more, Greg. World population has reached 8 billion people on November 15th, 2022. I didn't even know that till Jesus told me. He told me through Google. World population has reached 8 billion people. Jesus has the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, his church, employ tremendous amounts of time, talent, and treasure seeking to refine its communications to reach this broad, G-rated audience, in essence, the 8 billion people, the whole world, young and old. Thus, much of their LDS corporate messaging is very sophisticated, very carefully crafted using some of the utmost advanced technologies available in the world. Correlation committees, professional research. They have a division like that. I interviewed for them twice, and they said, no, we're going to look for somebody else who's less R-rated. Professional research and survey tech. Conference transcripts, yeah, they've gone to where it's very unified. Social media, they use NCAA sport ambassadors. You got your men's basketball, you got your men's football, you got your volleyball, all these different sporting ambassadors, right? They've got a whole network, sports. They have top-end university and college scholarship. They attend heavily to making sure that they're accredited so they can be like the Harvard of the West. I don't think they're shooting for Harvard of the West, but certainly putting lots of energy, lots of money and time and talents into universities that are honored by the world in those ways. Humanitarian services, vast humanitarian services that are correlated to the threefold mission of the church. They have leading edge financial management, investments, and so forth. They have temples and church buildings, et cetera, et cetera. Woo, these guys must be really good at messaging. Interestingly, this powerhouse, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, after tens and tens and tens and tens of decades to date, has only been able to recruit 16 million members to get them on the church rolls, that is, to recruit them, get them on the church rolls. And among these 16 million, it's estimated there's only 4.7 million who are all in, super devout LDS. Wonder if that estimate is right. Take a pie chart, okay? So you just take a few minutes. If you don't know how to do this, Google how to make a pie chart. You can probably get an online tool, or I use Google Forms. There's, Google Slides will do it. Yeah, so make a pie chart and then plug in these numbers, okay, into the pie chart. 8 billion, that's the big one. And then 4.7 million. Okay, so you can see the slice that is 4.7 million. You'd expect that's a pretty big slice. You may need a magnifying glass to see that little slice. 4.7 of 8 billion. Are you kidding me? That's a small little slice. Amazing, isn't it? All that energy, time, talents, football. Amazing. Despite the vast juggernaut of time, talents, and energies, the LDS Church devoted to get out the message in a way that regular, G-rated, that is, general audiences, can be invited, enticed, and persuaded, The results they get are pretty poor. That is, the results by worldly standards. Amazon has over 200 million Prime members, and it started only recently, April 17th, 2005. Wow, right? Spotify, total monthly active users increased 19% this year, got us up to 4.33 million. All right, not 4.7 million, 4.33, 433 million. Spotify was launched just in 2008. Wow. Yet still, worldly key performance indicators be damned, I believe that we can count on the church, Jesus. We can count on Jesus. Yes, we can. I can count on his love. You can count on Jesus. Ooh, that's a song that I got baptized. We'll get back to that. Anyways, I believe that we can count on Jesus to keep prompting the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Come on, to continue to refine and refine their G-rated, that's general audience, messages in the years to come. They're not going to stop. They're just going to keep refining it, get better and better at it. I believe Jesus expects the same of me and you. I don't know. I know he does me. He wants me to get better at reaching out, getting my message better. So I work on it every day with Jesus and angels. And sometimes mortals will come and say, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. And I listen because I'm like, no, I know I'm not doing it right. My results are, by worldly standards, pretty poor. They're pretty much in line with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints proportionally. And so I will work on it till I die, I suppose. I'll do whatever Jesus tells me to get personal results that are probably quite proportionate to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Corporation. So I don't have a football team, and I don't have a correlation committee. I don't have these things, but other than Jesus provides them. So my imaginary friend who is real, who is Jesus, the invisible God, he's been helping me. We'll keep at it. So even this very presentation, I think it's R-rated. I think it's restricted. I don't know that general audiences would be able to be with me. I may have already used my 18 minutes. If I was at general conference, they'd probably have a little timer. I could look down there and like, you got to get through this. Oh, you wouldn't have to have a timer, would you, Jesus? You just read the transcript. Well, I'm reading this transcript Jesus gave me, so I don't know how long it is. Whew, I didn't have time for that break though, but I did it. So it is R-rated. So I'm going to work on it every day, and I'll get the results that are proportionate, probably with what the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints Corporation is getting. Jesus has me post this post. Now, I thought this was going to be a post. Jesus says, no, this is going to be a TV episode. I'm like, I love Jesus TV. Thanks, Jesus. So here I am. I'm at Jesus TV Studios. I just ate a banana. Who smells like a banana? Jesus smells like an orange. But bananas are good. Okay. Jesus has me post this post or do this episode because he is having me ponder the mysterious works of God. How great they are. Those are very mysterious, that defy the expectations of the world. You'd say, man, if you put that much energy into messaging, you'll get hundreds of millions of people interested. You won't. Like, is it the subject matter? Could it be? I don't know. Are you enjoying this episode? Could it be the subject matter if you're not? Well, you're probably not watching if you don't like the subject matter, but I like it, so I'm watching. Okay, so in particular, here's the thing with my messaging, and this is what Jesus wants me to emphasize and understand. So I'm telling people right now, and it's less about that, it's about me hearing Jesus. Greg, can you hear me? What are you saying, Jesus? He says, in particular, Greg, you are an architect, engineer, and designer. You're charged by Jesus, okay, to build early Zion. Early Zion, that's the early versioning, the prototype Zion, not the eventual Zion. So don't worry, I missed it. They're building Zion. No one told me. Brigham Young did. He said, Zion is our business. You should be building Zion. But anyways, that's a different thing. I'll leave it to Jesus and his messaging. Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. You'll see that during my lifetime anyways. Jesus says they'll start announcing projects, Zion projects from the pulpit. Woo! Yeah. So I'm early to the game. And that's why it's called early Zion. Well, that's not even a thing in your life, perhaps not. But in mine, it is when I hashtag hear him. So I'm supposed to build it in the open like Noah built the ark in the open. In the open? In the open. At least my part. So I'm building my part. Why? I don't know. Ask Jesus. My particular mission that Jesus has set me upon includes two audiences. Does not, this finger got cut off. So I'm afraid you'd interpret that as 1.9. That finger got cut off. How? Well, I put in a lawnmower. Somebody said, how'd you do that, Greg? And I said, well, I did this. And then I stuck my other finger in there, and that tip went off too. So when the next person said, how'd you do that? I'm not going to stick it back in there. I just tell them the lawnmower, like I put it right there. Can you show me? No. All right, devil sinner. Hey, let's do this sin. That wasn't good. Well, what did you do? I did this. You don't do that. All right. Don't go back to the sin. Don't go back to the mower and put your fingers in it. But when you're doing two, let's have a full two. So I've got two audiences, R-rated audience and a G-rated audience. Which movie do you want to go to? My particular mission that Jesus has set me upon includes two audiences, a G-rated and an R-rated, which of course then you have to communicate in that way. All right, because if they came to see Winnie the Pooh, you don't give them come Stephen Hawking's something about the universe. No, you would give them Winnie the Pooh. And I'm going to give you both. Meaning, Jesus expects me to feed his G-rated sheep. So Jesus has general audience. Okay, so we're using a parable. Okay, when I say G-rated and R-rated, people are like, oh, R-rated. I can't watch those. I can, because Jesus just has me re-rate them. He created a re-rating association. I don't have to go into that, do I, Jesus? No. Okay. But anyways, Jesus apparently can re-rate films. Interesting. Shawshank Redemption. That's PG. Really? No, I think it says R. Oh, the Motion Picture Association of America. Those guys are pretty liberal. So I don't know. I guess you can have them rate your films if you want. I'd rather have Jesus rate them. So Jesus, I go, what's that rated, Jesus? Debbie Dead's Dallas, that's still X, yes. And Shawshank Redemption, oh, that's PG. Oh, okay. In my world, okay. Anyways, we kind of got off track, which is R-rated. And you even talk about the X-rated, and you're in R-rated territory. There we go. Just restricted my audience, haven't I? And I talk too fast. Restricted. Meaning Jesus expects me, yet he still expects me to feed his G-rated sheep. Can you slow down a little bit, Greg? Can you show maybe some media? Show them something like, this is the banana. Yeah, I can do that. Slow down. Meaning Jesus expects me to feed his G-rated sheep, general audiences, with things that Jesus tells me to feed them when I hashtag hear him. However, I knew there'd be a catch. However, my unique mission on earth, whose? Greg's unique mission on earth, also requires me to communicate with R-rated audiences. That is restricted audiences. Really? Do you think that the general authorities of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have R-rated discussions, restricted discussions? Of course they do. We do not belong to a fully transparent church where they're like R-rated, X-rated, G-rated. We'll talk to all audiences all the time. No, conference G-rated. But the kind of conversations they have up at Salt Lake, R-rated, restricted. I'd like to hear them. I'd like to hear how you guys resolve this or that. You'd have to sit in the committees, and we're not going to let you sit in the committees. Oh, so it's R-rated? Yes. Besides, if you sat here with us, you might get disturbed. Oh, I thought we were all in agreement and everything. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like families. You put on a nice front, and that's a G-rated front, and it's important that we do that. Your doctor says, yeah, I think I know what's going on, when he's inside his going, oh my goodness, I have no idea. What do they do with this COVID? Are the pharmaceutical companies doing some weird stuff with this vaccine? And I'm not saying they are, but I'm not saying they're not. Oh, but your doctor doesn't let you see that. No, that doesn't. For G-rated audiences, you just came to say, what's this thing hanging off my skin and stuff like that. When I took that vaccination shot, it just seemed like, oh. And the doctor's like, oh, well, now let's see, what's the script here? That has nothing to do with the vaccination shot. Make up some other, hold it, I wasn't supposed to say that to you. Oh, I'm sounding like Joe Biden reading the script. Do not go off this script. Okay, you get it. So we have a front stage and a backstage, as Irving Goffman would say. So sometimes there's some complex R-rated stuff. What goes on behind closed doors? There was a song about that. Because no one, what goes behind closed doors? I can't even remember the rest of that song. It's a country song. Behind closed doors. Let's look it up. We have time on Jesus TV. Lyrics to Behind Closed Doors. It's appropriate. It's like a parable, so you can use this parable if you want. My baby makes me proud, Lord, don't she make me proud. She never makes a scene by hanging all over me in a crowd. Now I'm kind of doing a hip hop version of this country song, so don't read it like that. Because people like to talk, Lord. They love to talk. But when they turn out the lights, I know she'll be leaving with me. And when we get behind closed doors, then she lets her hair hang down. And she makes me glad that I'm a man. Oh, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. And that's true of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Generally speaking, they're pretty good. We're going to let women now say prayers in conference. And now we're going to have them talk in conference. What were the deliberations like when you guys decided this? And why weren't we doing that before? No one, what's the song again? No one knows what, and no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. Well, the truth is some people do. There's the ones that are invited to the committee meetings and so forth. Okay, well, I can totally see why Jesus didn't have me work up at the church office buildings. It's going to be kind of obvious. He said, Greg, you are R-rated. You were born R-rated, but you still need to see if you can't have a few episodes that are G-rated. Okay. And I'm like, okay, Jesus, I'll try to do that. And this isn't one of them, of course. So my unique mission on earth requires me to communicate with R-rated audiences. Oh, so like committee audiences? Yeah, kind of like that. Restricted audiences, meaning in particular, what does it mean in your situation, Greg? Other architects, engineers, and designers of early Zion. Oh, okay. Where are these guys at and these gals at? I don't know. Jesus is going to bring them and I'm waiting for them. And so one of the things I have to do is do what I'm doing right now. Because when they watch an episode of this, the other architects, engineers, and designers of early Zion, they're like, oh, dude's got game. And what game do I got? Is it Winnie the Pooh game? Could be. I got some of that for sure. Does he got Monopoly? Yeah, no, he's got some weird games. And they'll say, dude's got game, which means just another way of saying, I got business with this guy. And they'll know, oh, it looks like I'm an architect, engineer, and designer of early Zion. And then we'll talk shop talk or geek talk. What kind of talk? Early Zion, like Jesus wants me to do this, Jesus wants me to do that, Zion building projects. That's what we do. And others will say, this is the G-rated audience. And like, hey, don't worry about it. Article Faith 11. You claim the privilege of calling us a bunch of nutcases, and that's fine. One thing I'm not good at, though, I have to admit this, because Jesus tells me to. He says, confess your sin. One thing I'm not good at, here it is. My sin's coming, okay? I'm going to do it. You could call this R-rated. All right, I'm going to show you. One thing I'm not good at, but Jesus has me working and getting better at, is recognizing the audience that Jesus has entangled me with, has me encounter with when I walk with him. So I'll be walking with Jesus, and I'll just assume he's just going to take me to the architects, engineers, and designers. No. A lot of the people, I'd say the vast majority of the people that I interact with, that Jesus has me interact with, are G audience for me, anyways, general audiences. So my wife, my kids, my bishop, people at church, my friend here, my friend there. And they're not interested in geeky early Zion talk. Some of them are kind enough, they'll let me bull. But then there's these select ones who like, oh, dude's got game. It just means dude's got Jesus assignment that involves early Zion, architectural, engineering, and designing considerations, meaning they're down with that, meaning they're ready for some R-rated conversations. But what I used to think is like, everybody's going to be interested in this. I've got an R-rated movie I'm going to tell you about. Oh, la, 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 la. And it's not like that. It is like that kind of though to some people, like, oh, no, 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 I can't hear it. Da, 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 da. Even the topic I just talked about, the relative success by worldly standards of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, resulting in 4.7 million people to go all in. You spend that kind of money, all that time and energy, and that's your results. Well, I'm not criticizing it. I think, hey, that's Jesus. I think it's a parable. I think he's actually doing a church-wide parable saying, hey, when I said few be there that find it, I meant it. And do you want to see how much I meant it? I'm willing to just let 4.7 million members be the ones that go all in. The rest, you know. So he's big into parables. I see it. And I'm speaking the parable, which is kind of R-rated. You probably won't hear this talk at conference anytime soon, even though everything about it seems true. So I think it came from Jesus. Okay, well, throughout my life, I have had a problem. I have had a problem of delivering R-rated messages to general audiences. You shouldn't do that, Greg. If they came for a G-rated discussion, like I would like to talk about the clouds, and I would like to talk about our Lord without saying the name Jesus and dropping the J-bomb all the time. All right. I would like to talk about our Lord and not delve into anything that looks at all mysterious. I would like to talk about our Lord without considering opposition. So I want to talk about truth, trust, and commitment without talking about vulnerability, risk, and ambiguity. That's R-rated. Yeah, it is at this point in the church, but we're headed to a different time. Anyways, general audiences. And I want you to worship like I worship and so forth. General audiences. So homogenize. So go watch conference like, oh, well, looks like they all have about the same dress standards. Looks like they're all about 18 minutes long. You'd be correct. Looks like they're all in English. Yes. Looks like they don't lay down a quote without saying where it came from. That's good. Everybody ought to do that. Yeah, if you're talking G-rated, but I'm R-rated. I just like start dropping quotes and saying, hey, you can Google it. That's what they ought to do, is just like throw out some Williams Wordsworth and just go. And now somewhere in my talk, I've embedded some Williams Wordsworth, and I did not put a quote on it. We live in the age of the internet. Go ahead and Google my whole talk, and you'll see plagiarism, that I plagiarized, but I'm hereby declaring in this that I just purposely let the quotes off. In fact, everything I'm saying is plagiarized, if you want to get down to it, that this is all the stuff that when I hashtag here Jesus, this is what he told me to write down. Ooh, that'd be refreshing. If I was at a conference like that, I'd be like, that guy's a Jesus street preacher, R-rated street preacher. Okay, so throughout my life, Greg's life, I've had a problem of delivering R-rated messages to general audiences. Yes, ask any family member or extended family member. Oh my goodness, we're going to get together for Thanksgiving. What's Greg going to do? Grab our ear and talk about all kinds of Jesus radio and Jesus baptizes songs and Jesus is building Zion right now and da 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 da. They don't want to hear it. You think? You think? It's not because they're not good people. It's just like you're geeking in a certain area. Like they don't want to do that. And so let's just talk about whatever. And so I do. That's the nice thing, is I'm not completely antisocial. That I know lots of stuff about family members, not like gossip stuff, just because I ask questions about their work, how it's going. So I've got nephews that are in technology. That interests me. So we'll talk about that. And I know quite a bit about their jobs. And truthfully, more about their jobs than they know about mine. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign. It means I'm not beyond hope. It means I do it. We just need to do that more, listen better, and ixnay on the R-rated A, right? Okay. When I get together with general audiences. So what I'm confessing to is, yeah, I've had a problem in there, right? I'm like a guy with Tourette syndrome. Oh no, he's dropping the J-bombs, which doesn't go over very well. Technical jargon, technical parables, technical perspectives are not warmly received by general audiences. Oftentimes, they do not have the capacity to receive these things. Just as there are certain subjects that I would myself be easily lost and uninterested in. Somebody starts talking about history and how our current thing is informed by history. I actually might be interested in that. I'm an odd bird. I'm like curious about a lot of things, a lot. But there are some things I wouldn't be very interested in, and people could be geeking on them, and maybe even a whole group of people like, hey, we want to just talk about the weather. Like, okay, I know that's a good subject, and I should be more interested in it. But when I talk about that, I want to go R-rated and say, oh yeah, Jesus is going to bring some awesome, in fact, he already does, some awesome weather events. So I feel a flood coming on. Ooh, a storm is threatening. What's Greg singing? My very life today. If I don't get more Jesus, oh, I'm gonna fade away. More Jesus. He's just a prayer away. And they're like, I think that's the Rolling Stones. It's the baptized version of the Rolling Stones. Give me more shelter. And the whole family's enjoying it. Not. The whole congregation's enjoying it. Not. Why? It's R-rated. But I guarantee you, I've got some friends out there that'll be like, oh yeah, oh, do that. Keep it going. Bang, bang, bang. And it's just about audience, right? Always had a problem there. That's what I'm confessing my sin. I've got moats. Anybody with a beam in there? If you've got a beam that can go in there and pick out that moat, it'd be very helpful. Anybody out there? I know there's some beam laden people that could help me get that moat out. Just stick your beam right in there and pull that moat out. Oftentimes, these folks don't have the capacity to receive. So Jesus gives me a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I don't want to share this. Jesus doesn't want to share it. He's like, careful. What? Yeah, you need to know that you're in the G-rated section. Oh, so I have to go over to the R-rated section of Netflix? Yeah, you go over there and you can talk about these. All right, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Yeah, you get it? Yeah. I think we get it. Isaiah. Oh, yeah. Isaiah was one of these favorite prophets of Jesus. I think he did say that, something to that effect. You doctrinaires would know that. Isaiah, what was he? R-rated. Are you kidding me? Most, even devout members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, pretty much just pass over Isaiah. Now, in these last days, there's some people like, oh, we maybe want to not pass over Isaiah. And there's a few who geek on Isaiah and like, oh, guess what? These things that Isaiah spoke of, they are found, and it's a framework for understanding all the scriptures. Whoa, no wonder Jesus loved this. But Isaiah, I'm sorry, how approachable is it? Are you kidding me? That's what I just said. They skip over it, me included. Because Isaiah is what? Let's hear it. G-rated? No, R-rated. Version almost up to X-rated, right? Now, we won't use X-rated. X-rated has too many connotations, so we're R-rated. Restricted. That's good enough. Jesus just told me that. Isaiah is restricted only to those with high levels of what? Charity. By charity, I think you mean long suffering, because I've read Isaiah. I've read some of Isaiah, and what does it feel like? Compared to Nephi, who delights in simplicity, I think Isaiah is like, I delight in complexity. I love metaphors and taking bananas and saying, oh, they're going to shoot them. End of days stuff. Yeah, things like that. Like, why is that even necessary? Why can't you just talk plain language? He is for those who are willing to geek out, who are willing to engage. And I just say those who God puts it in their heart at different times in their lives to go towards Isaiah. And then you'll start doing what people accomplished in anything. Accomplished in the piano. Really, the piano's easy, says Liberace, says Elton John. Do you have any less gay people? Says Billy Joel. Yeah, the piano is easy. Well, of course, once you master it, once you geek out on it, you play it for 8 hours a day, straight for months, then it's easy. So R-rated is easy. The stuff that I'm serving up is easy eventually, but it's hard for me too. So Isaiah is restricted only those with high levels of charity, long-suffering, gentleness, meekness, love unfeigned, all that stuff. Those willing to spend weeks and weeks, not like 18 minutes. Hey, Isaiah, could you package that? I understand you got a lot of complex things. Yeah. But here's the deal. We need you to say this in an 18-minute soundbite. Okay. Isaiah, you're on. We're going to give you 18 minutes. Oh, I don't need 18 minutes. Here's the deal. Everything I wrote about, it just comes to the same conclusion. Greg's spouting it off all the time. www.getmorejesus.com. That's it. Yeah. You go ahead, dive into all this stuff Jesus gave me, and it all comes down to one thing. Y'all need more Jesus, and Jesus is the answer to everything. Woo! That wasn't 18 minutes. What are you going to do with the rest of your 18 minutes, Isaiah? I don't know. What do you want to do? Sing a Jesus song? I sure do. I know I do. All right, we'll do it. Just a minute. Keep talking about Isaiah in a country voice. He's restricted to only those with high levels of charity, gentleness, meekness, willingness to spend weeks and months and years, even a lifetime to understand him. Oh, Isaiah. Oh, Isaiah. You are asking so much. I'm not asking it. Jesus is. And if you don't hashtag hear him asking you to do it, you don't have to do that. Oh, read Isaiah. It's very, very important. Everybody's got to read Isaiah. I'm not sure that's true. I think if you're commanded to read Isaiah, well, we're all commanded. No, I mean like individually commanded. Little 8-year-old, you're commanded to read Isaiah. Get on it, buddy. You're baptized now. You're accountable. I'm going to see you when you're 9 years old. You better have it all memorized or you're going to hell, straight to hell. That's R-rated talk, Greg. I know. Yeah, that's R-rated energy too. Stop it. Okay, well. General authorities, I repeat, general authorities of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints package up their offerings in 18-minute sound bites. I think I mentioned that. And they deliver them with precision using teleprompters on television. If one of them were to open up a can of Isaiah, pure, fresh Isaiah, on the general audiences, imagine that. Let's just say it wouldn't go over very well. No need to do market research on that one. You don't need to hire me for that one. I can tell you the results already. No. So Jesus found the same thing in 3rd Nephi, goes sees the people. Did he keep his stuff to 18 minutes? I don't think so. In fact, they're like, oh, I can't. And then Jesus says, I see that you're kind of going glassy-eyed on me. Maybe you guys need to go home. No, we don't want to go home. Yeah, you probably need to go home. So they go home. Anyways, come back. And then he's like, okay, I want to see some miracles. And he pours down miracles and so forth. Give them a little taste, right? So we can end on a happy note. All right. So yeah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and me, we're not that great at getting general audiences. Oh, let's sign up 200 million of them, Amazon, Spotify, 400 million, right? Yeah, it's like aren't we offering you? We're offering like the best stuff in the whole universe. That's all you're going to give me, right? Well, here's the thing. It's okay because Jesus is overall. We're going to let him fight our battles. We're going to let him do our PR stuff. But if he tells us to go ahead and get a football team together so we can impress people, and they're like, oh, I want to join the church because you guys have a good football team. Or even if they just want to live a better life. Yeah, Jesus apparently is down with that. No, I just want them to live a better life. And so seeing coaches who don't cuss on the side, oh, hold it, Greg, you were there. Oh, I know, that was true at BYU. I'm like, oh, guess what? Cows won't move unless you use cuss words, according to my friends. who talk in church will actually say that. I just got to chuckle. What a funny thing to say. Yep, cows only know. And yeah, it's a good way to excuse your sins. I have different ways I excuse my sin, but the Mickle brothers are awesome. And so I like that. And I like that I'm down at BYU, like 50-yard line. So Jesus set it up so I could hear. I'm right down there. And I'm hearing these coaches. I'm like, woo, yeah. Coaches are treating the players like cows, dropping the bombs. I didn't hear any F bombs, but H bombs. Oh yeah, yeah. I drop them. Yeah, don't I? Yeah. I say hell, but only in a religious context. Hell yeah, I do. Oh, I didn't there. Okay, I sin in my desire to be funny all the time. So yeah, it's something I got to work on. And so some of you beam people, come over here. I got notes. Bring your sharp beams so you can whittle those out of me. Anything else, Jesus, you want me to say about this? Oh, no. So this episode was precipitated by a friend, Trey Yoshua. Trey came and visited me, and it was Jesus, obviously, who had him do it. Jesus wanted, this is how Jesus works, mysterious Jesus. And it prompted me to start thinking about how I communicate. And you would think the purpose is, well, he's just trying to get you to be better with your 18 minutes, get everything down into a little 30-second package or 2 minutes. None of these episodes that go on for like an hour, people don't know how to use the pause. They can't pause that. No, they have to listen. Once they start listening, they're stuck. They're in hell. They can't pause. Pause. No, Greg's talking. I have to listen to the whole thing. I might want to put it on double speed. No, I can't understand what he's saying. Even when I slow it down, hey, that's a better idea. Let's put him down to 3/4 speed. Now, am I going too fast for you? And so, yeah, Trey came, and you can see the video. It's on YouTube. He said, "Can we record this?" And I just had a friend call today. And actually, it was interesting because Lyman called and Jesus had him call. And he complimented this because I was working on this at church. Okay, so Jesus has me multitask at church. I listen what's going on at church. This time I was in Sunday school helping the little kids. I wasn't the teacher, but I was there to be the teacher helper, whatever. And so I had enough brain power that I could keep working on this episode. Well, lo and behold, after we got the kids when they're doing their singing and so forth, holding their noses, ears, eyes, nose, here comes Lyman Compton calling me. Well, generally I wouldn't take that call. Like, no, I'm in church. But Jesus says, you need to take that call. So I did. And that's where then he had to share with me. He says, I was watching that episode of Trey. So blah, blah, blah. We talked about it. It was very interesting. But then Lyman added that part about Isaiah, Jesus, 3rd Nephi. So I wanted to just have a shout out to Jesus, first and foremost, for guiding me in my path and for letting me do this episode so I could understand. Yeah, you seriously need to, Greg, pay attention to your audience. And generally I'm sent to restrict audiences. So like, okay, I'm paying attention, which I am right now. It's like, this is not G-rated. Here's another example, Greg, of where it's not G-rated. Right. And it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be R-rated because this is what Jesus does. I think that, well, and I've already seen it, that some people will watch these things and they'll go, guys got game, guys in the game, guys building an early Zion, and they'll be drawn to that energy, and then we'll have business together. Early Zion building business. And so we are. A lot of the friends that I have right now, the Jesus friends that are mortals, I got lots of angel friends. Hallelujah. I can't see them though, but that's all right. Yeah, we're doing business, which is the business of building early Zion. And they get me. They get me enough. And we never get everybody. You can be married to somebody for, like I am, 32 years. They still don't get every part of you. Of course they don't. We can't even get ourselves fully. So here's the deal. Here's the thing. I'm supposed to pay attention to my audience. And so I need to do a whole lot more listening. And I do a lot of listening. That feels good to like, no, I listen. And Jesus like, yes, you do. But you need to cut it down more, get more Greg out of there. Let it be them. Let them preach. So like, okay, when I'm with the general audience, right? And even when you're with a restricted audience, okay, I'll work on that. And Jesus, like, good. Yeah. And he's good. He doesn't take his beam and start, I don't know if Jesus has any, I don't think you have beams in your eye, do you, Jesus? Nope. He has them in his hand and he'll pull them out. So if you beam people, don't have beams that are sharp beams. You may not have to get my motes out. Jesus might be able to do it. He's very precise surgeon too. So thank you for that, Jesus. Very sharp, very sharp. And he can do things that you guys, yeah, you're probably not qualified to do. He can squeeze my life, make me poor, make me cry out. Jesus, waterboarder, Jesus. He calls it baptism, and it is. It's baptize me again, Jesus. Let me die again. All right, let's end this episode with a prayer song, shall we? I can sing the one that I sang in Sunday school today. So you probably see why they don't have me teach Sunday school. But hey, I was in there, and my friend Chaz said, how about you, Greg? What was your week like? And I said, oh, we just started getting the karaoke's for Jesus's songs together. You guys know what karaoke songs? So we got like look like about 10-year-olds, 10, 11, something like that. And karaoke, yeah. I said, yeah, so Jesus has these songs that are baptized, they're converted, and they're being downloaded to the earth. Apparently 2,000 classic rock songs that have new lyrics. And I'll sing you one. And so I will, as the closing prayer song. This is for general audiences. General audiences get this. So if you didn't get the rest, this is what I would do in conference. They said, Greg, we're going to let you speak in the April conference. Can you get ready for that? And we're going to let you, we're not going to have you do the teleprompter. We just want you to do a demonstration project of what you'd do. And so I'd get up to the pulpit and I'd go like this. Time. It is time to reach out to God again in humble prayer, your heart to share. Hope, God's your hope. When everything's falling apart, he will be there. He will repair. Fight. God will fight to win back your love again. If you should stray, he'll find a way. Love, Jesus' love, will tear down the walls of shame. Praise ye his name. Let Christ now reign. Jesus died for you. Love him with all of your heart. Trust your God to change the things that you cannot. Pride has built a wall so strong that you can't get through. Now there's only one way that you can be saved. God, you. And this is when the Mormon Tabernacle Choir will come in. It'll go like, try, lasso, try to reach out to God again. No, he is there. No, he does care. And then the organ comes in. Friend, God's your friend. Don't turn your best friend away. He's knocking now. Open somehow. And then here comes the guitars. Jesus died for you. Love him with all of your heart. Trust your God to change the things that you cannot. Pride has built a wall so strong that you can't get through. Now there's only one way, but you can be saved. God's loving you inside you. In God's loving you inside you. I would probably not sing it like that. I just keep singing every single day. God's loving you. Woo! That took a lot of energy, Jesus. Thank you. That was my prayer song. Prayer songs are hymns. They're basically like prayers that you make magical notes with here, and then when you do, Jesus will sing with you. At least that's my experience. Don't know what your experience is, but I'm thankful that the general authorities let me give this talk for all of you LDS people. Apparently, we started going R-rated. Thank you for the thank you, David Archuleta, for joining in on that last chorus. And I want to thank the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Coming up next, if the general authorities let me, we're going to be doing the baptized version of Bohemian Rhapsody. And apparently Freddie Mercury will be here in spirit. So that's going to be good. What else do I have to say? Oh, the light's flashing. Get off the stage. Okay, must be time for me to get off the stage. I'm thankful that Jesus told these guys, you got to let Greg talk in general conference. And they said, well, what's he going to talk about? And Jesus says, whatever he wants to. And Greg's like, whatever you want me to, Jesus, I don't care. I can sing or dance or just give an 18-minute teleprompter talk, whatever you want me to do, Jesus. And so anyways, you just saw a little preview of what's coming, perhaps if Jesus does it, but probably not. It's R-rated, and it may not be time in my lifetime. Oh, but there are R-rated events coming, you know that. End of days events, woo! R, and I'm afraid a lot of X-rated. There's already events like that. But Jesus is going to open up on the general audiences some really, really wonderful things. That's what Jesus street preaching is. Yeah, so I guess the last thing to be said is sometimes Jesus wants the G-rated people to hear R-rated things, even though it might traumatize them, giving them PTSD. You know what? I went to the Sundance Film Festival and Slam Dance was there, yes. And you know what they also had? Jesus Dance. Yes, they had these karaoke signs up and people were singing Jesus versions of the Scorpions, which that song I just sang was. There you go. All right, that's an episode. That's a wrap on Jesus TV. Jesus TV, a real thing. Getting realer every day. Getting realer. Is that a word? Thriller is a word. Realer? I like it. I think we can go with that word. Jesus died for you. Love him with all of your heart. That's a commandment. That's not just a suggestion. It's not a commandment from me, though.